The bathroom door was wide open when I came home that rainy Thursday evening, and for a few seconds, I stood frozen in the hallway, wondering what had happened. I could hear the shower running, steam drifting into the apartment, and the soft sound of someone crying behind it. My roommate, Rachel, had asked earlier if she could use my bathroom because hers had suddenly stopped working. I expected to come home to a simple favor returned with a thank you. Instead, I was about to discover that the open door had nothing to do with carelessness and everything to do with a secret she had been carrying alone for far too long. Before we continue, if you believe kindness can change someone's life, and that hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances still matter, please take a moment to like this story, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Sometimes a small act of kindness reaches a person at exactly the moment they need it most. My name is Caleb, and I had been sharing a small apartment in Portland, Oregon, with Rachel for almost 6 months. We were friendly but not especially close. She was the kind of person who apologized when someone else bumped into her, who paid every bill early, and who always seemed determined to prove that she needed nothing from anyone. I had noticed she was struggling lately. She had started coming home late from work, skipping meals, and sitting quietly at the kitchen table long after midnight with unopened envelopes beside her. Whenever I asked if everything was okay, she smiled and said she was just tired. That afternoon, she had knocked softly on my bedroom door and asked if she could use my shower. The water heater in her bathroom had failed, and her landlord had said it might take several days to repair. I told her it was fine and left for work. I never imagined that something as ordinary as sharing a shower would lead to one of the most emotional moments of my life. When I returned that evening and saw the bathroom door completely open, my first thought was that something was wrong. I called Rachel's name from the hallway, and she quickly answered that she was fine. I waited outside, giving her privacy, but then I noticed something on the floor beside the bathroom door. It was a small envelope, damp from the steam. On it was Rachel's name and the logo of a local hospital. I didn't open it. I simply picked it up and placed it on the kitchen counter. A few minutes later, Rachel came out wearing her robe, her hair dripping, her face exhausted. She saw the envelope and immediately sat down. For the first time since we'd met, she didn't try to pretend everything was fine. She explained that her mother, Margaret, had been receiving treatment for a serious illness in another part of Oregon. Rachel had been secretly sending most of her paycheck home to help with medical expenses. She had fallen behind on her own bills and was terrified that she might have to leave the apartment. The bathroom problem had been inconvenient, but the open door had happened because she had been sitting on the floor, overwhelmed, trying to make a phone call to the hospital. She had accidentally left it open when she stepped into the shower, too distracted to notice. What hurt most wasn't the money. It was the realization that Rachel had been carrying all of that fear only a few feet away from me while I had assumed she simply wanted to be left alone. I told her she didn't have to solve everything in one night. Then I did something simple. I opened my laptop, looked at my budget, and offered to cover her share of the rent for the next month while she figured things out. She immediately tried to refuse, but I reminded her that accepting help wasn't weakness. Sometimes people spend so long being strong for everyone else that they forget they are allowed to lean on someone too. Over the next few weeks, our apartment changed. Not because we suddenly became perfect roommates, but because we became honest with each other. Rachel found a temporary second job at a bakery, and I helped her organize a payment plan with her bills. One Saturday, she drove home to visit her mother, and when she returned 2 days later, she brought a small homemade pie from her mother as a thank you. Months passed, and Margaret's condition gradually improved. Rachel eventually left the bakery because she no longer needed the extra income, and she enrolled in an evening course that helped her move toward a better career. One night, as we sat at the kitchen table sharing coffee, she told me she would never forget that rainy evening. She said she had thought the open bathroom door would be the most embarrassing moment of her life, but instead it became the moment she finally stopped believing she had to face everything alone. That stayed with me. We often imagine that life-changing moments arrive with dramatic announcements, but sometimes they appear quietly, disguised as a broken water heater, an unpaid bill, or an open door someone forgot to close. Sometimes the greatest kindness isn't rescuing someone. It's simply reminding them that they don't have to walk through a difficult season by themselves. If this story touched your heart, please support the video with a like, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe so more stories of hope can reach people who need them. And before you leave, I would love for you to comment one word that represents what you believe people need most when life becomes difficult: hope, kindness, faith, or love. Years later, Rachel and I no longer lived together, but we remained close friends. Margaret recovered enough to return home, Rachel built the career she had once thought was impossible, and the little apartment in Portland became only a memory. Yet whenever I passed a bathroom door left slightly open, I remembered that evening and the lesson it gave me: sometimes an open door isn't an invitation to look inside someone's private life. Sometimes it's a reminder to knock gently, wait patiently, and let someone know that if they are ready to step out, there will be someone standing nearby who cares.